Three girls watching TV shows, and some of it's good and some of it blows. And when we finish the movies, yeah, we need a scotch, and we turn to each other and say, what did we just watch? We're live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
So, okay, this is a small aside before we get started. I've been listening to our pod and I realize that every time I open up, I say hello, like every episode. And I think that's just my new thing. That's gonna be my
That's just your thing. Yeah.
It's my thing. But
yeah, you gotta do it now.
Yeah. I can't forget, then everyone will call me out. So
True.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Father Pie, she said she would probably call us out. Shout out Father Pie on YouTube.
We love you.
Heart. Yeah, so we're gonna do a truth or drink today. However, it didn't happen. So use this as an opportunity so we can do it next time to send us questions on Twitter or Instagram DM or replies. And we can do those next time. But we're doing it.
Yeah.
We had interest, so we're doing it.
It's just the fact that we have old bodies, even though we're all like 24, and drinking can hurt us.
We have to prepare.
Like drinking can harm us for more than just like a night now. So if we don't feel like 100% beforehand, we're like, no.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
It's coming.
So please, send us those cues.
Yeah, send us those questions. I posted something on Twitter, so definitely respond to that tweet.
Hell yeah.
I know a couple of you guys already done it, and I'm very excited to answer your questions. So
yeah, I got a baby Svedka for the journey.
Yeah, we're ready. We're mentally, physically
not so much.
Yeah.
So in lieu of truth or drink, Kiana, do you want to tell us what we watched today?
Okay. So we were gonna watch an episode of Big Time Rush because it's on Netflix, but then I was watching a show with my brother right before this. It's called Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. And it's only like 11 minutes an episode, so it was a very quick watch, but it was a whirlwind of things happening.
It truly was.
It was.
A little background on the show. The show's premise is that Harvey Birdman is a ex-superhero, now lawyer. So HannaBarbera had a whole bunch of like TV shows that ran from the 60s to some of the 70s and some of the 80s. So like Scooby-Doo, the Wacky Races, and like all those Yogi Bear, stuff like that came out around then. So did Birdman, and he was like this cool superhero that like came out. This is kind of like Space Ghost, because Space Ghost has like a late night TV show on Adult Swim as well. So this is just like a parody of all those like cartoons into one. So Birdman basically is a lawyer for all the like childhood cartoons. So this episode that we watch is Scooby-Doo theme. So we will be discussing that and how Scooby-Doo is involved with crime. So the episode starts off with Shaggy and Scooby are like driving the mystery machine. It's like really smoky. They're laughing and giggling, having a good time. And then a cop pulls them over and they're like, oh no. And they're like, shh, quiet. So the cops ask them a couple of questions like, yeah, you're kind of driving a little erratically there. Are you guys good? And they were like, yeah, we're just like running away from this like big green monster. Like it was so scary. Like, and they were giggling throughout it. So the cop's like, can you guys step out of the vehicle? And they were like, no. And then they drove away. And then it switches over. They get arrested. So it switches over to Harvey Birdman in his office. And he's like, I really think we need a clerk, like a secretary. And his bird Avenger, who is like just like a pet bird that helps him do stuff, is sad because he thought he was the secretary, but he's just a bird. And Birdman was like, no, it's okay. Like, you're my best friend. But then he locks him in a cage and leaves him for overnight and then comes back to the office next day doing an interview. So they interview Peanut, and Peanut's supposed to be like a Bird Boy. And I think Bird Boy was a character on the original TV show. So that's why he looks exactly like him. And Peanut's really weird. Like, I've watched other episodes and he's just like the weirdest one. I don't really like Peanut, but he says like crazy things.
I do not either. We'll go into that later, but I was not a fan of Peanut.
Peanut is also like definitely not to like take away from like Peanut was bad, but also definitely a product of like early 2000s like humor where you're like, yeah, this is gonna go well with the kids, and you're like, no, it was bad then and it's like still bad now. So anyway, so Peanut has no sort of experience, but he still gets hired anyway by Birdman because he needs a clerk that desperately. So then Birdman gets a call from the jail, and it's like Scooby and Shaggy needing a lawyer. And he's like, oh, I'll come tomorrow and like we'll figure it out. So he leaves them in jail for overnight with all their like bad guys that they've unmasked. So then the next day, Fred Jones comes in. So it's like Freddie comes in. He's like, we need your help. The boys got like trapped. Like the gang needs your help. So Birdman, because he said gang, Birdman thinks that the Scooby-Doo gang is like an actual gang and not just like a group of teenagers. So he's like, it's like, oh yeah, sometimes it happens like that. Sometimes you're on the wrong side of the law. And Fred is like, no, we just like need your help because they got arrested for doing nothing because they're just a little goofy. So they go down to the jail and Birdman's asking Scooby and Shaggy all these questions, but they're like goofing off and laughing. So he's like, you know what? If you actually want my help, then like come and like get it later because you guys are not like cooperating right now. And then Velma is like, no, Birdman, that's just how they act. They're like kind of stupid. So like, that's just their personality. Like, please help them. And they're like, okay. So then Birdman goes to lunch and he's trying to bribe the defense, which is Spyro Gyro, which I'm assuming is another villain from the original TV series, but he's just like the defense lawyer now. Or wait, no, he's the prosecutor. Right?
I think he's the prosecutor, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. He's the prosecutor in Harvey Birdman's defense. And Birdman's like, hey, can we take a plea deal? Like, figure that out. And Spyro Gyro, who is like a thespian, is like quoting Shakespeare standing on a table. And he's like, no, we will not be taking a deal. So then also the scenes like skip around very abruptly. So there's just like goes from the lunch to straight to court. So they're like doing court stuff. Birdman is also not a good lawyer. So he's like saying all these things, being like, these are young, upstanding citizens, and like Scooby and Shaggy are like still laughing and acting goofy, and whatever. And then Spyro Gyro does a like complete reenactment of what happened that night when the police pulled Scooby and Shaggy over, but he has a horse and buggy. And it's like kind of beautiful. Even Scooby and Shaggy clap, and Birdman's like, no, don't clap for that. But then Spyro like falls into horse poo, and that is the joke. So it then moves over to like I think the police is getting interrogated, and they're like, yeah, we found like pizza boxes, what did you say, pizza boxes, like lipstick or something, and like hairpins.
It was hairpins. I can't remember the other one.
Yeah. And then Birdman's like, these hairpins are actually Daphne's. And then, you need something better than that. And then Velma takes the stand, and Spyro Gyro's asking her all these questions about like why do the boys laugh so much? What is like Jamaican love, which is an incense. The Jamaican love was the incense that they also found in the car. And like Birdman was like, Jamaican love is like, should we like arrest everyone who uses that incense? No, like that doesn't like do anything. That has nothing to do with this case. So then Spyro Gyro was like, okay, look at the evidence. And so they like, the episode just clips together a whole bunch of different scenes from the original Scooby-Doo show where it looks like they're super high.
Yeah.
Because their eyes are like faded out. There's smoke everywhere. And it doesn't look good for Scooby and Shaggy, gotta be honest with you.
No.
And Shaggy makes a joke at the end that was like, I finally get it, Scooby Dooby Doo. And then they like start laughing and everyone's like, case closed. So then it cuts to the bar and Birdman's getting like super drunk with the gang and Fred's like, hey, how did you not know about that video? And Birdman's like, I'm a lawyer, sometimes things just happen like that. Like he has like
you don't understand.
Yeah, he doesn't understand.
We clearly don't.
And like he talks about how like then the gang's like, oh, if we catch the green monster, then maybe that will like acquit them. And Birdman's like, don't even try, you guys don't know what you're doing, you're just kids, only I, the adult, know. And then he was like, time to get lit. And he like get another scotch and then is drunk for like the next day. So they're like starting up the next court proceedings, and then Fred and Velma interrupt the court and it's like, we found the green monster. And the green monster is real, everyone believes them now, and it was just the old farmer who decided to switch from cotton to soybeans because kids don't use cotton anymore for their clothes. And then they all laughed,
which like isn't true.
Yeah, no,
people still wear cotton clothes, like what are you talking
about? Yeah.
But then they all laughed and it abruptly ended. And that is
it was
episode.
Really abrupt.
It was like all of a sudden it was over. I was expecting anything else to like close it out. I was like, oh.
It was like an episode of Law and Order when it's just like Dick Wolf. And you're like, wait, did they solve the case?
Maybe that was the inspiration.
But yeah, that is Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Yeah, it was wild. I'll say that at the beginning, I was like not into it. I was like, ugh, this is stupid. But then when I realized it was just like a parody, they had this whole like middle part about how like I don't remember. It was just like the only difference between us and cartoons is like that we have product placement. And they had this whole like insert, like, and then all of a sudden it was when they were at the bar, and then all of a sudden like tabs appeared in their hand and they had a cutaway with like a real life person dressed as Harvey Birdman dancing with a like a tab mascot on the beach, and it just like cut away. And I think that's when I realized that it was intended to be stupid, and I was like, okay, I think I can enjoy this a little bit more.
Because I feel like you didn't know it was supposed to be stupid at first.
Well, you never know with like I feel superhero crap and like cartoons, you never know like if they're supposed to take themselves seriously or not. So I just like went in assuming it was like a serious thing, and then I was like I knew it was funny, but I like also thought it was like that was a serious like character show. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh no, it's just supposed to be like idiotic. And then I started liking it a lot more. I was like, okay, this is funny.
I was in a very good headspace to enjoy it because I had just woken up from a nap and I had absolutely no context for what I was about to watch. I know, Kiana, you did give us like a 1-minute explanation, but I was distracted and did not hear most of it, and then just kind of went in blind, and I thought it was very enjoyable.
It's totally
truly a whirlwind.
I came in because I heard my brother watching a TV show when I was like making lunch one day a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what are you watching? And he's like, oh yeah, this new show my friends told me. It's not new, it's like I think it came out in like I want to say 2001. So yeah, it's like kind of it's definitely an old show. But a spin-off series is coming out in like sometime this year with Bird Girl, who's a character that is introduced later in the series, who's just like Batgirl to Batman. So that's basically what that character is.
I thought Bird Girl.
Yeah, we'll see. I have to like finish watching this series and see if it's actually worth continuing. But I enjoyed it. But when I first watched it with my brother, I was like, what is this? And just like stupid things happened. And I was like, what's going on? And then it was the episode before this one. So then the Scooby-Doo episode came on and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to watch this one because it has Scooby-Doo. And then that's when it got me. I ended up watching like 6 more episodes with them. Also because they're 11 minutes long. So they're short enough. after you get past like the first 10 minutes, you're like, what the heck? I'm finally used to this episode. And then it ends and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was like, okay, like I'm vibing, and then it was like over. I was like, oh, wait. I kind of liked, so like Kiana was mentioning at the end of the episode that she thought it was funny because the voice actors who actually voiced the characters of Scooby-Doo came on this episode. But for me, it was interesting. Like I could tell that it was them, but the show, like they had the characters, but it like didn't feel like it was in their world. Like it was like still a little bit removed from their world. So, because it was just like, yes, they were acting in character, but like not quite. Like it was like almost in character, but there was like some things that they adjusted just to like make it funnier. So it's like funny that the voice acting cast actually came on for it, because it was like close to real, but it didn't hit it quite exactly. So I liked that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I feel like the reason for me that it was like that is because it was just so fast. Like everything was a whirlwind. I was like, there's no time to figure out what's going on. But no,
I also felt like
funny too that the actors like joined in for this.
I also felt like it was funny because I felt that way because when they got pulled over for being high, smoking that Mary J, Shaggy and Scooby just like giggled and like wouldn't talk, which like they're like silly and like awkward, but I feel like they probably would have like in a real episode like tried to explain themselves, but at this one they just like giggled. And then later Velma's like, yeah, they're not high, they're just stupid. And I was like, Velma probably would never say that, but like it added to like the funniness of it, because it's like, no, like you're right, like that's like why it's happening. So there were just like a couple of moments. Also, Daphne was just not a character. Can we talk about that? Daphne was just a board.
Said no words.
Yeah.
she said one word, and then Peanut hit on her the whole entire time. And
that's what I was about to bring up. I was like, Peanut just harassed Daphne the entire episode. I get that was supposed to be part of his like character, but it was not funny, especially because Daphne had no lines. So it's just like her awkwardly being hit on by Peanut.
Yeah, it also is weird because this is the first introduction to Peanut as well. Like this is his first episode that he's in. So it's like a weird introduction to have for a character for like the remaining series. Like my brother's on season 4, and he's still there. So that's just like his personality. Except for he gets better. No, he doesn't get better, but he gets like more fleshed out, I guess.
I was like, I couldn't figure Peanut out. There wasn't enough there for me to understand.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was no substance. There was nothing to his character. I guess,
but it was only 10
point,
minutes.
Right? It's not the point either. Yeah. So I'm thinking too deep about it, but I just did not enjoy.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's totally fair.
Yeah. And Birdman was funny because he's like giving me very much William Shatner, Captain Kirk vibes, where he's just like arrogant to the point where he like doesn't realize how stupid he is at sometimes. So I love that. Like that trope is so funny to me because they're just so oblivious to how stupid they are, and that like they think they're so good at their job when they're not. So I was like,
bad at his job.
So bad at his job.
In a later episode, he accidentally kills Dino Mutt from like Blue Falcon, and he's like, oh no, and he gets thrown in. There's like 2 episodes that he gets thrown in jail for a bit. But yeah,
but it was funny. It was funny. It was a little fast paced, but it was like stupid and funny. And they're like, I feel like even though it moved fast, it just like reminded me of a sketch show almost, with like the different cutaways and stuff. And like when he was talking to the dramatic guy and he was like performing a whole monologue, and he's like, oh, I know I shouldn't have asked him. Like it was all funny. Like it was all, they had like in the guy who's the villain, what's his name, Spiro?
Yeah.
And his like cutaways where he was like, Birdman's like trying to make conversation. He's like, oh, like, do you have any friends from high school you keep in touch with? And then it like cuts away to Spiro getting beat up, and he's like, ouch. And he's like, oh no, not really. And he's like, do you have any college friends? Like, where'd you go to college? And then it cuts away to Spiro getting beat up like the same exact way in college. He's like, ouch. It's like funny. I don't know. They had some good timing. Spiro. Yeah, Spiro was fucking hilarious.
I don't think Spiro comes back that much because
sad.
because they like rotate people who's the prosecutor. So like there's this other guy, the small green guy that showed up for a second.
The little alien dude with the zapper?
He comes up a lot
Uh-huh.
and he's voiced by Stephen Colbert.
Oh.
So Stephen
weird.
Colbert, there's like a kind of like a decent voice cast to this show. Stephen Colbert voices him and another guy. Gary Cole is Harvey Birdman.
This feels like a project Tom Kenny would be on.
I think he actually, yeah, he was on. He was Boo Boo Bear for a bit.
I love like, okay, realistically though, if there is any voice acting project that's like comedy based or like superhero based, Tom Kenny's probably done it, like a cameo in some form. So me when Tom Kenny came on in Teen Titans, and I was like, is that Tom Kenny?
Tom Kenny's in a lot. He's not just the voice of our childhood, SpongeBob. He's in like so many other things. And you don't realize it until he starts talking and you're like, wait a minute. It's kind of like Mark Hamill. Like Mark Hamill's in a lot of stuff too, and you don't realize it until he starts. He also has like, Mark Hamill has like a very distinctive voice once you've heard it a lot. So then as soon as I hear his tone, I'm like, that's Mark Hamill voicing this character. And then I have to look it up on IMDb to be like, I'm right.
Yeah, you have to verify.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I heard like 2 seconds of Tom Kenny's character in Teen Titans, and I was like, pause, this is absolutely Tom Kenny. And I looked it up, I was like, yep, this is Tom Kenny. It's like, oh, that's nice for him.
The Paget Brewster, who's one of the girls from Criminal Minds, voices Bird Girl. Like she has the black hair in Criminal Minds, which and she was also in the 6th season of Community. She's the one that they have to convince that they're like, you know, the episode when they have to did you guys attempt to watch any of the 6th season?
I was about to say, I don't even think I watched
Is it the last season?
Yes.
I like got stuck in the middle of it, but I saw some of it.
But she was the girl that was like, you guys are not in a sitcom.
Oh, she was in Friends. She was Kathy in Friends, Emily, where Chandler, it was Joey's girlfriend, and then Chandler made out with Joey's girlfriend, and then Kathy. Yeah.
That did it for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I know who you're talking about now. Oh, interesting. That's funny.
Yeah, and she's voicing Bird Girl in the new series as well, so she's continuing. But I mean, will you watch Bird Girl?
Yeah,
you have to watch it.
Remind me to watch Bird Girl.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple times. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know where you could watch it, but I'll let you know. But it's on, like, this series came out on Adult Swim, like when Adult Swim used to do like weird parody cartoons a lot. I already mentioned Space Ghost, but Space Ghost was a real superhero that had like a talk show similar to this.
Can we talk about how Hanna-Barbera cartoons itself were kind of like fever dreams, even when they weren't like late night parodies? Because when you mentioned Wacky Racers, that triggered something in me, because I was like, every time I watched that show, I had no clue what the fuck was going on. I could watch like 20 episodes and there was like no consistent characters or plot or anything. It was just the guy with the mustache
and the dog that's like that's
the only thing. That's the only one. It was chaos every time. I was like, why did I ever watch? It was like always because I was watching like something fun like Scooby-Doo, and I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, next up, Wacky Racers, and I was like, well, I don't really want to turn off. I didn't really want to turn off the TV yet. So I was like, all right. And then every time I was like, okay, I think I'm done for this after a Wacky Racers.
That is what this felt like. It did feel like a fever dream.
No, but like Hannah, all these shows, like they're like known for being like very famous cartoons, like Flintstones and all that. But like a lot of them only lasted for like a year or two and then like fade off to existence. Like Josie and the Pussycat Dolls, like Josie and the Pussycat Dolls.
The Pussycats.
Pussycat Dolls. I don't know why I keep adding dolls.
Ears for hats. Sorry.
Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw.
All those shows were trying to be Scooby-Doo, but not Scooby-Doo. So then they all lasted for like...
What's that one with the cats? The cats.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
And they have hats.
Yeah,
It's not Cat in the
Tomcat.
Hat.
No, it's
Cat in the
like
Hat.
it's a yellow cat. He has like purple
Yeah.
hat. Yeah.
I'm
None
gonna
of this
look it
is familiar to me.
Emily,
Remember
did you watch
Tomcat
Boomerang?
Jones?
Emily, do you remember Tomcat Jones?
Tomcat Jones.
Emma, I think you should insert a picture of Tomcat Jones here so our
Is-
viewers can see.
Oh, it's called Top Cat. Wait, is Tomcat Jones still available for adoption?
I don't know. I haven't looked this week.
What foundation was he? I'll take a
I
look.
forget.
Oh no.
It
Was he
was
on
the
Pet-
one that wasn't the one that you needed two. It was the other one.
Yeah,
The
there's
only one
gonna-
in Boston.
I'm
Remember?
Googling Tomcat Jones Boston.
Cat.
Hang on, I can find it.
Anyway, listeners, I think you should watch Harvey Birdman. If something politically is wrong with Harvey Birdman, let me know. Because
There absolutely was. They made some like horrible joke about like the Japanese people. Did you not miss that?
Oh,
Peanut made a joke.
I missed
Yeah.
that. What?
I forgot the peanut joke. Yes, I did forget about that. Yeah, never mind.
Like, wait.
That's because
and I
every
was-
time Peanut
Did
talks,
not
I'm like,
catch that.
whatever. I don't want to hear.
I was like, oh, I actually hate Peanut. We don't say those things. That's not okay. I'm gonna find Tomcat Jones. We need to sidebar for a second about Tomcat Jones.
Okay, it's not
Isn't it MSPA
Animal Rescue League. Yes, I think so.
cats?
I'm gonna list out a whole bunch of HannaBarbera TV shows.
Okay, wait, no, I think wait,
Oh,
is he
okay.
gone? Is he gone? All.
That's really surprising because he was kind of looking kind of rough there.
Was
Oh,
he
I'm
a-
glad.
Was he Boston or somewhere else? Because I clicked Boston.
Boston. He was the only cat available in Boston.
He might be gone,
Aw.
Emily.
Oh, that's good for Tomcat Jones. I'm happy for him.
Did he?
Oh wait,
Was Tomcat Jones the one that peed?
yeah.
No, that was a different one.
He's gone.
That's the one that was like, "Hi, I'm here. Meet Tomcat Jones." It was like, "Hi, I'm Tomcat Jones." You're like-
Okay, wait. We have
No,
to
it was
si-
like introducing Tomcat Jones.
Okay, wait. So Emily's about to have a big move and she's going to be able to get a cat. So she's been like searching for cats. And so we were looking together and we were looking through like the websites that were close by. And this cat, the only cat in Boston, like in this certain like shelter that's adopting, was named Tomcat Jones. And he looks like ragged, like he's been through some shit. And the bio says introducing Tomcat Jones, and Tomcat Jones had
cute.
Tomcat Jones had FIV.
He had
Yeah.
kitty AIDS. He tested positive.
So sad.
But I bet he got adopted by someone great who will be able to take care of him. And there's 2 new cats at the shelter that weren't there the other day, and their names
But are their
Little
names
Girl.
Tomcat?
No,
Little Girl?
Little Girl,
Little
and
girl.
Lump.
Like L-U-M-P?
Lump. He kind of looks like Nosy.
Aw.
Does he
We're
look
really
like a
getting
lump?
sidetracked here, but
We are, but
I mean, the episode
No,
is
he's
only 10
cute.
minutes, so there's like no way we could talk about it for very long.
wait. Remember what Kiana? What did you say about FIV with Tomcat Jones? You were like, "Do you want your first cat to have FIV?"
she was just worried about, like, my level
That's
of
also
knowledge
what people
and
have told me when I looked
understanding,
up in
which
the
is true.
internet.
I don't know.
When I
I'm
looked
not an
at-
experienced
I looked
cat
at
owner, so.
Frank was so cute, and everyone was like, "Kiana, he's tested positive for FIV. You probably don't want him." And I was
Cats
like,
with
"Oh,
FIV deserve love too.
they
Well,
do."
I think it's more like they
I
want like
just don't
experienced
have
cat owners
experience.
to like adopt them so that they know like how to care for them and like.
I
when
mean,
to get them,
after
like,
dealing
healthcare.
with Walt's like medical issues, I have so much experience on trying to wrangle a cat and giving them drugs.
Now
What's
you're an
this supposed to
experienced
be,
cat
like,
owner. You
already?
can help me. You can help me when I'm a new cat owner.
With
Soup.
TKJ. or no, it's TCJ.
No,
Tomcat
Tomcat
Jones.
Jones has a new family.
Just like Circus Peanut.
Circus
But maybe
Peanut.
Lump can be yours.
Yeah, maybe. I should
Aw.
probably just not look again until it's like time for me to actually look,
Yeah, that's
because it
probably
just
a good
makes me
idea.
sad. But oh well.
Bringing it back to what we were talking about. HannaBarbera, Yogi Bear, right? That's her too. My
Hanna-Barbera,
mom
the
would call me
Jetsons.
my mom would call me Boo Boo, and then she'd be like, "Hey, Boo Boo," like Yogi Bear. But she hadn't actually.
Boo Boo.
Oh yeah, like that. Yeah, that's a good reaction.
Just like that.
But she had never actually watched Yogi Bear. Like she had seen a
Wait.
couple episodes, but she just like decided to call me Boo. And then she just like anything that had Boo in it, she was like, this applies. So like the Monsters Inc. Boo, she was like, that's you. And then also Yogi, like Boo
Uh-huh.
Boo and Yogi Bear. And I'm like, you haven't really like seen any of these things. You just like decided they were part of my nickname.
I mean, once you've seen one episode of Yogi Bear, like what is there, you know? Maybe
Yeah.
she
Seen it
saw
all.
the live action movie and she was like, that's all I need to know.
There's a live action Yogi Bear?
Yes, there's a live
Oh,
action
God.
I
movie.
didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure someone kind of famous is in it. Hold on, let me look.
That's how it always goes with bad live action movies.
It was like
Wait,
during that time where
This is like not related, but kind of related. That Tom and Jerry movie that just came out on HBO Max.
I watched it.
The guy who was in Fantasy Island was in that, wasn't he?
Which
Wait.
one?
Which guy?
The guy who's like the
Oh,
evil
yeah.
guy who's running the
Yeah,
resort.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He's in it.
okay.
Guys,
How
the
was the
last
movie?
movie.
It's Justin
Um,
Timberlake is voiced Boo Boo in the live action
Hello?
Yogi Bear.
Huh?
We should watch the Britney doc because I heard Justin Timberlake is trash in it, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
Wait, I had a point. Oh, the last movie we saw, at least I did in theaters before the pandemic, was fucking Fantasy Island.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
sorry.
I'm sure it was the last one I saw too.
My last one was The Invisible Man with my parents. It was actually pretty good. I would recommend it.
I saw that on HBO. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
My brother's last one was Sonic.
Oh,
He's still very upset
Better or
about it.
worse than Fantasy Island?
It's better than
Probably
Fantasy
better.
Island. Lucy Hill haunts me. Anytime I see her, I think about that horrible movie.
That movie
And I'm
was
like,
insane.
Sorry,
What did Caitlin want to see that she was upset that we
Little
saw
Women.
Fantasy Island and said, oh, okay,
she will
yeah.
never let us live that down.
I had already seen Little Women, but it probably would have been better to watch Little Women a second time. I
So,
will
like,
admit.
I like am not happy that we watched Fantasy Island, but it's like more fun for us all to watch a bad movie we haven't. Actually, it wasn't fun. I'm like being nostalgic. It wasn't fun. We probably should have just watched Little Women. But I don't want Caitlin to be right. So
Bad
This
movies
episode
are our
just-
thing. Bad
This
movies
ep-
are our thing as a friend group. So
This episode just turns to us critiquing how bad Fantasy Island is. Because we're just like, it says Harvey Birdman / Fantasy Island 2020.
oh my god. So
That movie is horrible.
I love pod listeners. I'm not gonna watch that movie again for the pod. Sorry. I watched
No.
it once. I'll never
I
watch
mean,
that.
We're
we
good.
watched A Teacher for this pod, so I think that is way worse than Fantasy Island.
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
yeah,
But
you are
I
right,
mean,
but at the
that's
same
not
time,
not me
I have
saying
no
that.
interest.
Yeah, that's not me saying that.
Seems
I
like you
definitely
really
want to
watch Fantasy Island.
I think it would be a great episode to critique, but yeah, I don't want to force myself to watch that movie again.
For my birthday,
the
should I
same.
force everyone to watch
God.
Fantasy Island?
And make sure
Please
that no
no.
one can leave the Zoom, so everyone's just stuck there.
Oh my gosh. Wow, we derailed. Should we rate the Harvey Birdman?
Yeah, I guess we should.
Yeah.
And we can rate Fantasy Island. I give Fantasy Island a 1 out of 10. It sucks.
Same.
Yeah, I also give it fantasy. I give actually Fantasy Island a 0.5. That's how bad it is. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, I give Harvey Birdman a 7 Scoobies because this is kind of like my humor in a way. Like I like this fast paced like weirdness that happens because That's like the TV shows I like to watch, like Neo Yokio, which is like
Oh gosh, I forgot about Neo Yokio.
yeah, with
Yeah, you're
Jaden
right.
Smith. That's exactly my humor. Anything weird happened, I was like, "Yep, this is funny. This is like what I like." So I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it's
I'll give
also
it-
very dated. So there are things
Yeah.
where I was like, "Ooh," but yeah.
Yes. I will give it 6 pizza boxes out of 10. I did enjoy it. I'm glad that we observed it with our 10 minutes. It was a bit of a whirlwind for me. I was a little taken aback. I did not know what was going on, but I had a nice time.
But you want to watch Bird Girls?
I do. I'm gonna give it a second chance. You know, in the modern era.
I was gonna give it like a 7 or 6, but then Peanut being a terrible person brings it down to like a 5 for me. If there was less Peanut, I'd be at a 6 for sure.
I
We should have done
did not
episode
pay
1.
attention, or like I did not internalize anything Peanut said. I couldn't
Well,
tell you. Like I just had a filter. I don't remember him speaking, to be honest with
Well,
you.
well, he only really talks when he's getting interviewed, which he talks about like the Japanese thing, and then he also talks about like he got
Totally
fired
missed
from
it.
his last job because of like murder, because they all thought he murdered the person, but he just said, "I just wanted to move on." So is that so wrong?
I don't know what.
But
I
then
don't
the
know what
rest of his
happened.
lines
I
were
missed
just
it.
like in French or like
Awful.
really low and quiet, so you really could not hear
Yeah.
it.
I don't like Peanut.
Anyways,
I did think the show is funny, so I'll give it a, what did I say, 5? 5. Yeah.
5 what?
5 weed, garden weeds.
Okay.
okay.
5 Mary Janes from the movie Scooby-Doo, the live
The
action.
girl was, I think
Yeah.
it was Isla Fisher. I think.
Isla?
Sorry, Isla. I'm sorry.
Eyes. Sorry. I'm tired.
Look at all that weed behind Emily.
Oh my god.
Do you actually think it was? Oh, that was real?
No.
Oh,
Why would there be real vines on the door?
I don't know.
How would they stay alive?
I don't know.
We need to end this episode.
I'm so sorry. viewers.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Give us our truth or
Thanks
drink
for
questions if you want to.
Yes.
And we'll
Honestly,
see
this
you.
episode was exactly like Harvey Birdman, which was like.
Yeah. We did
Anyway,
our best.
like and subscribe, comment on our posts and stuff. That would be really dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you. We'll see you guys. Bye. Oh.
And are we not gonna say?
And this was.
what
What did we
we
just
just